everybody. Welcome back to Salty Sunshine Podcast. I'm here, Lisa, doing your solo episode for this week, end of January. My gosh, time flies. So, we're going to probably do the book review for The Last Party by A.R. Torre, probably by Friday. If you haven't read it, you should read it. I really loved it. It's kind of like edgy and kind of morbid, but it's really good. Like the main character is like a little psychotic. And so we're going to be reviewing that Friday. So if you end up reading it, make sure to come back and listen to our review. And so I wanted to go over a few hot topics. I watched some TV, some interesting TV. You know when there's so much to watch, but there's these moments that there's so much to watch, but like you just keep like stopping halfway because it's not that great. Every time you get something, you're like, I don't know, is this worth continuing? So Jerry Springer documentary. I don't remember if it was on Prime or it's on something. Jerry Springer documentary. I couldn't even get past the first episode. I was bored to tears. It was basically like watching clips of the show. I mean, how boring. So long ago, it's like outdated, but I mean, everyone knows who Jerry Springer is. I maybe it gets better. I couldn't get through it, so I maybe saw 15 minutes of it. So no, I don't recommend that unless you're really interested in his story. I'm sure it gets more interesting, but I couldn't take it. It was very boring. And then on Apple, so everyone talks about this show called Severance, and again, there's so many shows you don't really get to everything or you don't have time. So I kind of have a lull and I don't have anything to watch more or less. So I start Severance. So the premise of the show, I mean, maybe I'm stupid, but I'm kind of lost. I'm in and out. Maybe I'm not very committed because it's kind of boring. It's like slow. It's like one of those shows that it's like it has such potential, but then for whatever reason, the rhythm, it's just not there for me. But I like the concept. It's pretty cool. So basically, these workers go to work for this company, Lumen, and they sign off their life saying that they're on board with the fact that when they get to work every day, their brain separates their work life with their home life. So I don't know if it's an experiment. I don't know what the purpose is. I'm not clear. I don't know if I'm stupid, but I just don't get it. The people heading up, there's a board, and then there's this lady that heads it up, which is oh my god, what's her name? She's amazing. Anyway, so she is the main person there. She's obviously not a great person, and I'm not sure why yet. So basically they go to work. They walk into work. When they open the elevator and they come into work, they don't know what happens the entire day at work, and then they go home. So once they leave the elevator to go home, they don't know what they did at work. So they basically only remember going into work, and they don't remember what happened during the day. So when they get home, they know what happens the day before and they know what happens after work while they're out home driving. When they get back to work, they remember what they did the day before work, and they remember their work life. They don't remember their home life and vice versa. So that's super interesting, but I just don't understand what the point is. Like, why are they doing this? I haven't finished the first season. I think I'm towards the end, so maybe I'll find out more. But it is interesting. Like, it picks up and you're watching, and then sometimes it's like a little too slow and you kind of fade out and then you come back in. So it's worth giving it a try. I am going to continue to watch it. So next time I recap, I'll let you know what I think about, if it gets better. Patricia Arquette is the main actress. Adam Scott, Britt Lower. I love Patricia Arquette. Oh my God, she's the best. But I am going to continue watching it. So it's worth the try. Then Happy Place, of course, Reba McEntire from the show Reba. Amazing. It's on Peacock. It's a feel-good show. They have a lot of visiting characters from the original show, but it is not based on the original show. The story plot is a brand new plot. Her father dies, leaves her the bar, and she owns a bar. It's called Happy Place. So it has nothing to do with the old show, but they don't explain that. So you have to kind of figure that out on your own. And all right, so Love is Blind season is premiering February 14th on Valentine's Day. I'm pretty sure they said the 14th. If not, it's definitely February, but I think they did this last year and they might do this every year. They premiere the season on Valentine's Day, which is genius. I love that. And I'm so excited to see it. It's one of my top favorite shows. And I just reposted today Aquan, I forgot how you say his name, and his wife, the blonde girl, they're going strong. I love these updates. They're having babies, they're living their life. It's like such a success, so many success stories. I love it. Chloe's podcast. So during the LA fires, I don't know if they did it on purpose or she didn't have time to record. I don't know how far in advance she records, but she only had one episode out with Scott. Then the next week, she didn't have anything out. And then she just dropped one this past week with forgot his name. He's like a, what would you call him? A spiritualist, a life coach or something. But it's not great. I hope it gets better. I just feel like these people that get podcasts and they're celebrities, any celebrity can get these people, the guests that they're having on their podcast, everybody has them on their podcast. Everyone's heard everything they've had to say so many times. It's like, it's very superficial. It's like, there's no deep diving. There's no real conversation, in my opinion. It's just like, it's blah, blah, blah. All I hear is Charlie Brown. So Chloe's podcast to me is like blah. I don't know. Speaking of blah conversations, somebody that knows how to converse and keep it real is Amy Schumer. And I just heard her on Call Her Daddy with Alex Cooper. And see, she's the kind of girl I could be friends with. She's the kind of girl that would come on the pod and keep it real. And you don't really even have to ask so many questions because she keeps a conversation going. It's like you're talking to a friend. And that's the kind of guest I love. It's like they don't hold back. They're just themselves. They keep it real. There's no, when you have to ask so many questions, it's because you're not really engaging on a human level, to me, in my opinion. And those are the best conversations. She's basically on there promoting her new movie. It's called Kinda Pregnant. It comes out on Netflix February 5th. Of course, I'm going to be watching. I love her. I think she's so funny. But Bethany Frankel, she made a TikTok that she was just unhinged because she could not get on board with the fact that, so during the podcast, Alex is distracted because Amy Schumer takes off her sneakers and she's not wearing any socks. So she's sitting on her couch and Amy's like, "What's your problem? What are you staring at?" And Alex is like, I who the fuck wears sneakers without socks? And who the fuck comes to an interview and puts their bare feet on a couch without socks? And you don't even have a pedicure. So funny. But that's the kind of stuff I love. Like, you're keeping it real. It's a real conversation. No one's getting offended. I just love that. But Bethany comes on TikTok and she's like, "I am mortified. I will die on this hill. I will never be that person. Are you a sock person? You're not a sock person. What kind of animal does that?" It's just so funny. But she kept it real. She talked about guys that she used to hook up with after her, comedy shows, and how she would like send them home after they did something specific. And it's just so cool. I love to hear people's real experiences. She also talked about being traumatized when she was younger because they lived, to her standards, a very nice house. Like, not a mansion, but big, bigger than most. And she had a nice, beautiful life. And then when her parents separated, and her father was diagnosed with MS, her whole world kind of like didn't fall apart, but it completely changed. So they went from living in this huge home to living in a 2-bedroom. And she didn't really want for anything as far as what are we going to eat tonight, but her dynamic of life on a daily basis changed. So she did struggle with that. And then her dad's illness, and then her mom started dating one of her dad's friends. So she kind of had like a traumatic few years there during her pivotal years of growing up. So that was interesting. She says that she used to love doing roasts, but after doing therapy and being a mom, it's not fun anymore because what used to make her feel good, making fun of someone, and she would not feel good, but it didn't affect her, today would affect her, and it wouldn't be worth it in her mind. But she does love talking shit in private with her husband, and I can so relate to that. When I hear girls say, "Oh my God, I don't like talking about people, you shouldn't gossip," those are not my people. I don't want to be friends with you. I think you're full of shit, A, and B, it's not healthy. That's what people do. We're walking emotions. We're walking visual people. And to me, if you're talking about somebody, if you're not spreading rumors, to me, that's not gossip. To me, gossip is like you're taking a situation and you're, have ill intent and you're spreading it to people. If you have a few close friends or your spouse and you're just talking shit about whoever you saw that day or a party you went to me, that's completely healthy. As long as you're not hurting anyone, it's not going to leave those four walls, You always have to have that friend that you can do that with. So she loves to talk shit with her husband, which was interesting because her husband, I think she says, has autism. And the way she figured it out is because he would do certain things or kind of just stay staring at her if she would fall or something. And she's like, you know what? This is interesting. She maybe came across some information online and she took a little quiz for him. And it said that he had some of the traits for autism. So she asked him, listen, are you up for maybe taking a little test, going to see someone, see if maybe you're on the spectrum? Because I've seen some signs, and he was into it. So she said, cool. She didn't really push it, but that's how they found out. And then also, she found out she had Cushing's because of social media, how people are so, rude and mean, obviously. But they told her, your face looks so puffy, like whatever. So first she's like, that's so mean, just block people. But then like she had close friends tell her, no, actually your face does look puffier than usual. And then she went to the doctor and she didn't have she says there's two different types of Cushing's. One is really like bad and fatal. The other one, which she had, you could fix it. So she fixed it. So that was interesting. I really enjoyed it. If you like Amy Schumer, I don't listen to Call Her Daddy unless she has a guest I like, because I'm not into the other type of content. And there's so much on my plate as far as content. I don't have time to spare. I don't have time to waste on content I'm not absolutely into. It's just like eating dessert. You're not going to eat something that's going to cause a lot of calories in your day if it's not something you absolutely love. So congrats to Brianna Chicken Fry LaPaglia. She scored the cover of Swimsuit Magazine, which that takes me back. I have so much nostalgia when I look at Swimsuit, Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. I used to watch when I was younger. They had this show. I don't know what it was called. If it was called Sports Illustrated, Girl of the Year, I don't remember. But they would follow the women and their locations, and it was just so fabulous. The way they took care of these girls. They were so beautiful. You got the behind the scenes. You saw them in these beautiful bathing suits in these beautiful locations, and it was the best show. I wish they would bring that back. That was like, to me, it's back when 90s supermodels existed, and it was so beautiful, and I loved it. So congrats to Brianna Chicken Fry. The only thing I'm going to say, if you know who Brianna Chicken Fry is, she has a podcast. She dated Zach Bryan. She came out saying Zach Bryan abused her and it was a narcissist verbally after they broke up. But all I'm going to say, I'm not going to take away from her experience, but even in the SI swimsuit interview, she talked about her, like how she couldn't be, he would tell her like what to wear, what not to wear, what project she could take on, what she couldn't. And that's fine. That's your experience. But I mean, she dated him a freaking year, people, like a year or a year and a half. I'm not negating he was probably verbally abusive and a narcissist. They're super annoying, but there's only so much you could do in a year. And I say that from experience because I dated someone for plus 10 years and they were heavily in that spectrum and a lot is done. But in a year and a half, it's not that dramatic. It's there, but it's not, there's only so much you could do. So I thought that was interesting too. I came across, so Allison Hochler, the widow wife of Twitch. Twitch was on the Ellen Show. He's a dancer. He was on So You Think You Can Dance, also a DJ. So, a gorgeous talent, a beautiful man. He has so many fans. Everybody really loves him. He met Allison, his wife, on the set of So You Think You Can Dance. And she already had a daughter when she met him. And he became her stepfather, and then she had two more kids, and then unfortunately he passed away. So she came out with a book recently, and she's been eaten up by the public. His family has come after her like crazy. I saw their interview. I haven't read the book. I don't even think it's out. But obviously there's behind the scenes that you don't know about. I don't think she said anything negative towards him. Everyone is hating on her, especially like close friends and family that know him are saying that why she's doing this for a paycheck. And maybe she is. I mean, she has to make money, right? But it's not like she's doing it to make money, but she's not lying. And so with what I mean by that is that's her experience. And if she's saying she found something in the closet and she's alluding to the fact that maybe he had some narcotic abuse and depression and something happened to him when he was younger, I don't think, and she didn't say it in a negative way, she's not putting him down. I think it's her story to tell. I don't think, and I think it's very interesting how the public is coming after her when you do write a memoir. Like I just read the one about Lisa Marie Presley. When you hear about Elvis Presley, you want to know, these people are so big in pop culture. It's people want to know what happened. People are so interested in how did they live, what were they thinking, what were they going through. So I think this reaction from the public of not wanting to know who he really was or what he struggled with, I think that's bizarre. And it's just my viewpoint. I'm not taking away anyone's, viewpoint, but to me, I think that's weird. I don't think she's being negative. I think she's just being truthful and taking the opportunity to say their story and how much she loved him and she wished he was here. But she also struggles with the fact that he left her with 2 kids, and that's also understandable. But his mother and his brother, he recorded a conversation that she had on the phone and he aired it on his social media, which I think is not only illegal but wrong. I hate when people share people's text messages, which I think they should outlaw, because a text message, what's the difference between that and a recording? It's private information and people should not be able to share that in public, in my opinion. But my point of bringing this up is that Miranda Walker, I don't know if you guys remember the Netflix documentary of that, I forgot what it was called. It's like something cult. And so she's a dancer with her sister. She grew up dancing and she met this guy and started going to some church. And the church kind of took them in as far as like, the church also had a media company and all these dancers were under this umbrella and they were making this church and company all this money. And so she distanced herself from her family eventually and then popped back in when the family kind of betrayed her and did this documentary exposing her life. And so she was being hounded by everyone. But long story short, Miranda Walker, I noticed after this Allison Holker interview came out, I saw videos of her, Miranda and her husband from the dance documentary hung out with Twitch and Allison, and they did a lot of videos of dancing together. Now they're all dancers, so that makes sense, but I wonder if there was more of a connection. That's interesting because, why did they hang out so much? Because it was a period of time they were together all the time. So I'd like to know a little more about that. Obama and Jennifer Aniston, there's a rumor that they're having an affair, which is laughable, right? Because Michelle Obama has been absent from a lot of events lately, and that's not like her. And Jennifer, I don't know where this rumor started. And Jennifer, I think, was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he brought it up, and she was laughing. She's like, I know Michelle, and I've interacted with her more than I've met Obama once. And she's like, she's basically squashing that and turned off her comments. So I think it's safe to say that it's not true, but everyone's talking about it. But with that said, when I brought it up to my friend, they do look cute together. If that were, I mean, obviously they shouldn't be having an affair, but maybe Obama and Michelle are, maybe Barack and Obama and Michelle are, in separation and no one knows it. So in that case, it wouldn't be cheating. But still, we were looking at Barack and we're like, he's very handsome and he has swag, and I could totally see it. I think they would make a cute couple, only if him and Michelle decided not to be together collectively, right? Obviously. You don't want him to leave her, but I think Jennifer and him, it's just funny because of the rumor, you look at them, you're like, yeah, they kind of work. So do you guys remember Octomom? She had like those 8 babies, which is insane. She's coming out with a reality show, and her kids 14 and 15 are going to come out and talk for the first time because they were so little when this first came out. It's a Lifetime docuseries. Oh my gosh, I don't have Lifetime. I hate all these streaming channels. It's like every time something comes out, I don't have that streaming channel. So you have to like do a 7-day free trial. It's so annoying to find these things. But her daughter, Naraya, she's 15. She's ready to speak her mind. Days before she and her 7 siblings turned 16 on January 26th, Naraya is opening up for the first time about their unique journey and while they're all ready to step into the spotlight in Confessions of Ocotomom, premiering March 10th on Lifetime. A scripted movie of their life, I Was Ocotomom, will premiere on March 8th. My mom had to sacrifice her life, her friends, herself, and her dignity, just so that she could take care of us. If any opportunity came that she'd finally be able to tell the truth, of course, I'd want to help my mom as much as I can because she helped us so many years. When it comes to her mother's controversial IVF story, she has been told previously and how that has impacted her and her siblings, including Natalie's 6 older children. I just feel so resentful because people are just so easy to hate a mother and just believe any story. Natalie, who stopped using her nickname Nadia in an effort to escape the trauma of her past, became tabloid fodder in 2009 after news spread that she was a single mom who repeatedly sought out IVF treatments to expand her already large and struggling family. She was implanted with 12 embryos that resulted in first ever successful birth of octuplets. In the beginning, it was complete pandemonium, Natalie says, of being at the center of the public eye. There was, of course, all of the details of the death threats and fearing on my family's life. To provide for her family, Natalie says she continued to sacrifice my integrity repeatedly. Those sacrifices included participating in an adult film and at times collaborating with tabloid media on stories about her life. I didn't know she was in an adult film. That's kind of creepy with having so many children. It wasn't until they were maybe about 4 years old I was finally able to escape all of that, the attack it felt from the world, and all that global scorn and condemnation, being the target of misplaced hate. I could escape and finally go back to the life I had once before. Naraya says, it's very unfair how she was just terrorized and hated for just being a mother. The team reveals that once they grew up, she and her siblings were also shamed by some of their peers. There are some kids who would judge and ask inappropriate questions about our mom and show us pictures. None of that changed Naraya's mind about her mom. I just had a strong relationship with her, and I obviously defended her because they don't know her. On the other hand, she adds, obviously there are people who are supportive, people who are very kind, and I had many friends who were supportive of my mom. But other people, whenever they hate or say bad things, we just ignore them. As for what type of mom Natalie is, she's very strict and disciplined, and that's something I respect about her a lot. She's one of the most disciplined people I've ever encountered, and she educates us a lot. Implementing structured discipline is something that I failed to do as a parent with my oldest 6, Natalie says. I failed to implement all of what I've learned in college and graduate school and was nurturing only. I learned the hard way. Now with my younger kids, I was able to implement both combination of unconditional love, positive regard, and structured discipline and consequences. The octuplets are currently homeschooled via virtual instructor. As viewers will see, she and her siblings are thriving and closer than ever. I always have someone to talk to, and I'm just never alone, which is a good and bad thing. But it's very fun and it's very lively, and I'm just happy. I have a big variety of people and different perspectives. I don't remember, because this was so long ago, she already had 6 kids when she got pregnant with 8? That's nuts. This was a long time ago, so I don't remember. All right, the end of the article. Natalie says she keeps them busy with age-appropriate responsibilities. I believe all kids, teenagers, they need responsibilities on their shoulder to give them a sense of purpose, to make them feel confident and increase their self-esteem and know that they're contributing to something more than themselves. So I teach them the value of helping and serving others. First your home, your family, and then eventually the community. So, of course, I'll watch anything. If I get bored, I stop watching. I can't get through it if I'm too bored, but it would be interesting to see where they are. I do remember, pieces of this from before, but obviously I don't even know how many kids she has, so I don't remember the story too much. But if you're interested, that comes out March 8th on Lifetime. Virgin River. Does anyone watch Virgin River on Netflix? Virgin River just finished its 6th season, and they're scheduled to they've already shot or they just approved the 7th season, and then they'll start shooting it soon. Virgin River. And it's so funny because I saw online and a lot of people feel like I do. I'm like, am I the only one that can't with the show? Because you want to like it because it's such a wholesome, feel good, cozy, soupy feeling to watch the show. It's like your modern soap opera. It just goes on and there's no freaking point. But you keep watching because it feels cozy. You can have it on. But you get to the point you're like, why am I watching this? This is like so stupid. It's so boring and it's so not believable, etc. But you love the couple and you love like the setting and you love the little town and it feels so cute, but then you get pissed. It's like a love-hate thing. It's like you hate to watch it and you watch to hate it. I don't know. I saw so many people online saying the same thing. They're like, you know what? I give up. I give up. I keep trying to give it a chance, but I give up because it just doesn't get better. But you know what? I think so many people watch it, they hate watch it, and it's like because of that, they're going to keep going with the freaking show, and it's a really bad show. But at the same time, I can see why people keep trying. You want to keep trying. Anyways, who likes Virgin River? I want to know. Let me know. Selena's killer, Yolanda Saldivar. Selena, the singer, the lady that killed her, the head of her fan club. I love that movie and I love Selena. So she's served 30 years for the murder and she's eligible for parole hearing. She's eligible for a parole hearing in March. So she might get out, which is insane. And she's 64 years old. She's been behind bars for nearly 3 decades for the murder of Tejano superstar Selena Perez. Quintanilla Perez is attempting to get parole in 2025. A Texas Department of Criminal Justice representative tells the Post that Yolanda has no blemishes on her prison record, allowing the parole board to consider her case in March. Saldivar, president of Selena's fan club, shot and killed the 23-year-old March 1995, the year I graduated, in Corpus Christi, Texas, during an argument. While Saldivar maintains that she did not mean to kill herself, while Saldivar maintains that she meant to kill herself, not the young singer, that day, inmates report the convicted murderer is being housed in protective custody because she is a target. Everyone knows who Yolanda is, said Marisol Lopez, who was an inmate alongside her from 2017 to 2022. There's a bounty on her head. Like, everyone wants a piece of her. The guard keeps her away from everyone else because she's hated so much. If she were out, someone would try to take her down. So she should definitely, if she does get parole, she should watch out because those are the kind of stories that people do. Even after all these years, people get very obsessive over things. And if they've always wanted to do something to her, they will not forget. Former inmate Yesenia Dominguez told the Post, everyone was like that. Everyone was like, let me have 5 minutes with that bitch. Everyone wanted to get justice for Selena. There's a target on her back. So I don't know if you guys watched I think it was also on Lifetime, the documentary, which was very biased towards this lady, Yolanda, because Yolanda was in it from prison and her family was there defending her, saying they believe her, which obviously, how could you believe her? She obviously did the crime. I mean, come on. It's black and white. You don't accidentally shoot someone else while you're trying to shoot yourself. That's not a thing. And Selena went running out of the hotel and she shot her from the closer to the hotel door. So she was going after her to kill her. So no, I don't think so. She's obviously guilty. So, what are you going to do? I don't know if she's going to get out. She probably shouldn't get out, but we'll see. The Menendez brothers also, they can't catch a break. They were supposed to get out or be heard to get out last November, and then because of the elections and power switched hands, that was pushed back, and then again it was pushed back because of the fire. So those people are not meant to be released, it seems, from prison. The Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni drama, I don't even want to talk about it because it's just, there's not enough time in the day to talk about what's going on with these two. It's never ending. It Ends With Us is such an ironic name for that movie that these two starred in, because it literally ended with them. It literally ended with us, meaning Blake and Justin. My God, that they've driven this poor book that Colleen Hoover wrote into the freaking grave. They're never going to be able to resuscitate this. It's pissing me off because I love that book. And also the second book is never going to be made, or maybe it will, but it won't be the same because these two losers, I'm sorry, they're not losers. I don't have a side. If you put a gun in my head, who do I believe? I err more to Justin only because of the proof. I don't hate Blake. I love her. I've loved her since she was in Traveling, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I don't know. People say she's mean. Who knows? There's so many things out there. But my God, did she blow up her life as far as right now with Ryan? I think it was a mistake to do the complaint, to go to lawsuit against Justin. And the things that she complains about, although maybe if they're true, at best they're inappropriate. That's not sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is him texting her in the middle of the night, saying how he likes her boobs, trying to get her alone to dinner, comments that are that's what she's complaining about. At best they're inappropriate, and sure, you can address it and he can, be dealt with, but it's not lawsuit worthy, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but I've been at jobs that I've had actual sexual harassment verbally told to me, and there's nobody in the world that would hear what he said and not think that's sexual harassment. It's that clear. And obviously I didn't sue, but what she's complaining about to me is not sexual harassment. It's just inappropriate. But Candace Owens, and for everybody out there that, this is not political, and Candace Owens usually doesn't report on pop culture, but she is a political person. She talks about politics, and she's deep diving hard on Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, and she's coming after Ryan Reynolds, and her theory is that this is all Ryan Reynolds. This is Ryan Reynolds that came into the movie set. He demanded to see the dailies, and the dailies are all the video taken that day of filming, and he saw something he didn't like. He saw some chemistry, he saw some whatever, and him and Blake went into the trailer and started having a screaming match fight about what he saw on those videos. So this is all alleged. A lot of people have confirmed this though, and she's saying, because she has, so like Candace or not, and I've seen this because it's all over the place. So everyone's like, people that don't even like her and don't believe in anything she believes in are watching this because it is an interesting take. She has a lot of connections, and she's very good at researching. So she's diving deep, and she's researching, and she's getting emails, and she's getting information from people that know them, and she's pretty confident. And I don't think she comes out with having hard proof of certain theories. Doesn't mean they're correct, but they're very believable. So she's saying this is all about Ryan, and then she shows clips of Ryan's movie. What's it called? Whatever that movie is that he just did. And it's clear that he's making fun of Justin Baldoni. It's literally talking about him. He has these interviews with his mother and co-stars, and it's very odd. The what they're talking about in the interview, it has nothing to do with the movie, but it also doesn't make any sense. So when you watch it, it's like, what are you talking about? And he's acting weird. Plus, they brought up clips from old movies he had that he went off script and like slapped this boy that he was in this movie with. And then Blake did the same thing in A Simple Favor, which, by the way, A Simple Favor 2 apparently is ready to go to be released. And I'm excited because I really like that movie. But yeah, if you're interested in this theory, go watch Candace Owens, either TikTok or Instagram. There's a lot of clips on it. Do you think Ryan Reynolds is the one truly behind this? Or is it Blake? I don't know. Oh, and then Scarlett Johansson also, they've dug up her old interviews saying that, because, she was briefly married to Ryan Reynolds, and she said she couldn't live like this because he's super controlling. So the theme here is that Ryan Reynolds has a control problem. And when he sees something he doesn't like, he sees red. and he can't control himself, and then he wants to come in and take over. And apparently that's what he was doing with the movie. No one gave him, and there's even text messages in the lawsuit that Baldoni filed with the text messages between Baldoni and whoever else was working on the movie, saying, they caught Blake at a premiere saying, oh, my husband Ryan wrote that. No one knows this till now. But no one gave him permission to write that. So when they redid the scene, Blake acted like she's the one that wrote it, but it was really her husband, and he didn't have clearance to write it. He, it's like a liability as far as credits and this and that and the movie rules. So it's super crazy. Every day there's something new. Baldoni, Ryan asked the judge to put a gag order on Baldoni's lawyer, which was denied. And good for them, because you put out the lawsuit, and not only did you put out the complaint to file a lawsuit, you gave the information to the New York Times so they can smear his name and make him look terrible. So because you did that, you cannot come back now and try to put a gag order on the lawyer. That's not how it works. You're showing your, what do you call that? I don't know, privilege or elitist, or I don't know what you're showing, but you think you're above everything from that action alone. So this is going to be interesting. I think they should pull the lawsuit and they should try to go to mediation and settle this, because this is only going to get worse. It's not working in their favor. It's getting really ugly. They probably thought that that scene that they showed with the Baldoni's lawyer put out a scene of them dancing, and maybe they thought there was no volume, no audio being recorded. They got the whole conversation, which makes her look like the biggest liar in her lawsuit, because she said that he was making her uncomfortable, which could be true. But she also said that he told her she smelled so good, and that's not what happened. They were improvising, they were trying to fall in love. I mean, they're acting, they're in character. The movie is about them being in love. So it checks out. He's just playing the part. And when he goes to her neck, she says, "You're smelling my tanning lotion, my fake tanning lotion, my spray tan." And he said, "Oh, it smells good." So she took that out of context in her lawsuit. So he's making her look like the dirtiest liar. And even though she's not, she might not be. I don't know, but the proof looks like it's with him, is as far as the public is concerned. And it's crazy. It's crazy messy. People are going crazy. Another person that they're coming after is Nick Viall from the Viall Files. He's going hard for Blake. Him and his wife, Natalie, from the beginning have gone hard for Blake. And it's like so biased, because if I tell you right now, I'm telling you, I think if you put a gun in my hand and I had to choose right now, just because of what I've seen, I'm going to go with Justin. But I'm also saying I could be wrong. I'm only saying from what I've seen. I am unbiased. I don't have any feeling towards one or the other. Now, when you hear from Nick Viall talk about it, oh my God, he sounds like he's brothers with Blake, and he's protecting his sister. It's too personal, so it's super biased. A, B, Justin was on his podcast a long time ago, and he's basing his argument on the fact that it gave him the creeps, or he gave him a bad feeling. That's, first of all, rude. If you have a guest on your show, I would think if they weren't disrespectful and they weren't mean and they were graceful enough to come on your show, you should be thankful and have a little respect. Like, for you to call him or say he gave you a bad feeling when he didn't do anything, actually, there's no concrete complaint there. That's kind of rude, because he's the one that went on your show. I don't see Ryan Reynolds on your show. He's not sitting down with you. That's kind of rude. And also, it came out that Ryan Reynolds' company, Mint Mobile, is a sponsor of Viall Files. So if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. So he should really tread lightly with his opinions and talk about them as opinions, because he talks about them as if this is the case. And no one was there. No one knows. So you have to talk about people and their situations like their opinions. And he's not doing that. And I think this has to do also with his business and with his wife, because his wife, Natalie, always talks about something happened to her when she was younger, and that's fine. We appreciate everyone's story, but that doesn't mean everyone that comes out with something, just because something happened to you, like these are different people in different circumstances. So don't act like it happened, because you don't, and we have to wait for all the evidence to come out. And it's fine if that's your opinion, but you're acting like your opinion is the truth. And that's what I have a problem with. So we'll see what happens with that. It's the gift that keeps on giving that no one wanted. And it's going to probably be years. If they don't mediate and drop all this crap, it's going to be years before this is over. So it's going to get nasty. They're going to be mudslinging in there. That's what they're going to be doing, because Baldoni said he's going to put out a website with all the information, which is crazy. It's pretty crazy. So it is juicy, but it's crazy. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Hopefully we're going to do the book review by Friday, so look out for that. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.